Hey everyone, OPRocks is here, and welcome back to another video. And usually, these kind of videos I always say, I try, when it comes to certain topics, whereas DSP, my upcoming Aroundings video, I do have to choose myself of, what topic do I want to get to talk about? And what it really means to get involved in it. I always say that I have always one rule to myself is that I'm not here for the drama. I'm not here for the drama, clicks, or views. And what's going on now is something that has been something that has been piling up more and more to the point that it really does show the mindset people have. I'm talking about the dislike, the hate, and people using the word criticism to justify their actions on how they are treating Tetsuya Nomura, one of the people who worked for Square Enix for probably much of people's lives, going way back to doing some stuff for Final Fantasy 6. To going to do things for 7 onwards. And of course, his involvement with Kingdom Hearts. You know, the game series that everyone has basically turned him into a meme for. Yes, that series. So, you're asking yourself, Roxas, what's this about? We've heard it all before. We know how people feel about Nomura. And whether if he's a good writer or not is subjectivity. So what do you want us to know that we already know today? Well, that is more to do with what happened yesterday, as of this video's recording, where people's reaction to the designs of Stranger in Paradise Final Fantasy Origin not being the game they wanted it to be. I mean, now it's a meme now, so give that like a couple of weeks and we're just gonna have tryhards, which people are kinda are just tryhards at this point, so let's just leave them all be. I don't have time to basically read every single tryhard meme people gotta do. Because it's a kind of a, if you feel like this is all you're really doing, then I know we're stuck at home, but find something better to do than this. But that's beside the point. It really does feel that the dislike for Nomura got worse. I mean, yeah, people want to point fingers at everybody else's Square Enix, which at this point is just a blame game, and that's a whole nother topic. But it feels like Nomura is the scapegoat for everything. He's blamed for a lot of stuff, and people don't think he's a competent writer. He's not a competent game designer. He's not a competent character designer. He's not a competent director. Anything. That's what everybody looks at that Nomura as, and it really does show over the years. People have simplified his characters all to be the same. Sora, Xehanort, most of the cast of Final Fantasy, but not really, they're all different characters. People also think that everything's connected. Only Kingdom Hearts has those connections, and anything to the compilation and anything to Final Fantasy Remake has a lot of connections to the compilation lore. That's it. But not as deep or complicated or complex as people make it out to be. It's just over-exaggeration for over-exaggeration. Another thing that really does show people when it comes to Nomura is that there's a weird idea that he's this master troll, this person who's making his whole Nomura's revenge because of Baron Rex, when it's all just stupid shit. I'm not calling people out who do that, who've been saying that. HMK, but that's a whole other story. Like, I think he's a little bit crazy when he goes doing that, but I say that in more sense of Can you not say shit that makes people believe it? You're supposed to be a Kingdom Hearts content creator, and you're supposed to be a face. Same thing with you have like sites like Cage Insider, like K13. You guys are the face of the community. Act it and not put in words and ideas in people's heads and give people the facts. He's the one that actually coined the Nomura's revenge. No one else did, and everyone just kind of started believing it. And that's something that's really showing of how much mainstream paints Nomura as this bad, incompetent person or troll. Also, if you're curious on what you're looking at, for anyone who's never seen Birth by Sleep, this is the command board. A Fortune Street-like minigame where you basically go against AI characters, whether it be Terra, Aqua, then characters you meet in different worlds. Hold on for a second. And you basically battle with them in a Fortune Street type of game. If you ever played Fortune Street, think of it kind of like Monopoly. Think of it like Monopoly, you know? Anyway, it really does make you think that people just follow what everybody says about Nomura. And that's kind of how we're still hearing the same jokes and memes about Nomura in 2021. Nomura has a belt fetish, Nomura belt and zipper fetish, Nomura has a plaid fetish, Nomura is a master troll, Nomura laughs in his interviews, when Nomura laughs in his interviews like he's some crazy madman, etc. and etc. And that's kind of where you really do see how people have taken what these are jokes and turned these into actual fact. Like, I said this on Twitter, and someone else said it too. Nomura is just some Japanese guy who just goes by to beat his own drum. Everybody treats this guy as some kind of the thing that quote-unquote ruined Final Fantasy. His involvement is pretty much the reason why Final Fantasy is still around. We wouldn't have 7 if it wasn't for his involvement. We wouldn't have Kingdom Hearts if it wasn't for him. Whether you feel about the Lightning Trilogy or not, or even 15, we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for him. He has a very big involvement of why Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts are still around. He's part of the big reason, and people don't get it. His involvement is why. Like I said, I think a lot of it does come from the classic and the modern Final Fantasy fans. You got the classic Final Fantasy fans of like 1 to 6 and maybe some of the spin-off games. And then they're the ones that haven't who hasn't enjoyed Final Fantasy for maybe a while or hasn't enjoyed the newer games. Another example is like Comet. Like, I think that it's pretty clear he doesn't like the classic Final Fantasy game. I mean, the modern Final Fantasy games. And I feel like he's gonna burn himself out the more he goes through it, because he already made his feeling about the characters on some kind of pill. So it feels like you're just gonna force yourself to. You're gonna burn yourself out to a franchise you clearly only like the classic games, which are probably 1 through 10. And you obviously don't like how the newer games look and sound like. You don't like Kingdom Hearts. So, or even much of the collaboration. So what's keeping him around? It's hard to say. He's gonna burn himself out, and he might accidentally let his feelings out. The more you burn yourself out to something you don't like. So it's hard to say how that's gonna go, but it does show that some people are treating him more like a meme, or they treat what he writes or does as terrible. I think that a lot of people criticize Nomura because they criticize his writing style, which is no different than any writer. If making up things as you go along is bad, but you don't really know that. You don't know he has some stuff planned out. And, he's just going with the motions of what he thinks of. I'm not saying it's bad or a problem, but people make it out to seem like it's a terrible thing. I'm not saying that he thought everything. I don't think he thought everything up in advance. I say that he built up the things that he built up more of stuff that were from the past, like the stuff about the brown roaded Xehanort. We didn't know a thing about him. Same thing about the lifeboat. We thought it was some random machinery, but to believe it has the most importance than anything says that this was a very important machine that we didn't see how important it was going into like the Union Cross games. But it really does make you think people judge him more for his writing, and then or sometimes they take the blame on Nojima or Kisuke. Like, they get a lot of hate too. At this point, it's a blame game with these three. Even though they're pretty much much of the forerunners of much of the PS3 and the PS4, PS5 era Final Fantasy. And yet they still do good. Another aspect, as this video is going to probably be ending soon, is that I had mentioned how people judge the moral design. The fact that the media, as well as like mainstream, has put this idea that Mora has a fetish, or the fact that there's some kind of fetishizing. Look, we got enough people trying to out people as pedophiles. Do not just assume people have a fetish, Another thing is just how much it's not really about criticism. I think if you believe criticism is bad, design is bad as criticism, then that's not criticism, you're just saying it's bad. Like, if you make it sound like it's fact, that's not really giving me an idea of if it's bad or not. It just sounds like it's fact to you. And honestly, it really does show that the more can design the most normal characters, and a few elements that are still Final Fantasy, and you still criticize. That's how it's been looking like with Stranger Paradise. Because people think they will. I think that this also ties back to the classic Final Fantasy that people are very attached to, and they think they want that style for the spin-off, and they didn't get it, and that's what they're upset about. I mean, they're just memes about it now because they're like, oh, these guys look like cosplayers, they're like their isekai protagonists. You might want to check. You might want to not associate cosplay with actual video games, because that'd be a pot calling kettle black on all of everyone, including cosplayers, actual cosplayers, and my personal favorite. Are we really gonna play? Are we really going to pull the isekai card? Like, really? Not now? Like, seriously? No. So it really does show that a lot of this is just everyone judging Nomura, and they're doing, and then the fact that people want him gone because they think he's ruining Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and it's stupid. It's stupid that we've reached this point. That apparently that these designs to a spin-off game hurts people, and that's kind of where it's coming. It went from everyone turned Nomura into a meme. Everyone's like he's incompetent to everything he does. Now they're acting like he ruined Final Fantasy, and he ruined this game because he designed normal looking dudes. They still got still got different hair color, but they're normal looking dudes. I mean, I know I've had talked to people about this, but It's not like the Warriors of Light in Final Fantasy 1 had personality or character. There were classes. The Warrior, the Monk, the Black Mage, and the White Mage. That's it. They didn't have really distinct character traits or anything. We didn't start getting character until, I would say, 4 onwards. 4 and onwards. So it really does feel like people just wanted a Final Fantasy 1 made the style of Dark Souls. And that's what they didn't get what they wanted. And I don't want, and trust me, I don't got time to listen to people's fan fiction of what they wanted Dark Souls Final Fantasy to read. Read or be. I think I got enough fan fiction to deal with. Nothing probably pisses off my friend, but you get my idea. So let me wrap this up. The more hate, the fact that the more was trending, this needs to stop because it really is getting to the point where Westerners on social media are getting mad about a Japanese game. I think at this point there's maybe Sony had the right idea to censor, underage children, by the way, underage girls, by the way. I want to remind you that underage children, not under 21, underage, and you're upset that they're censored. I wonder who's kind of the degenerate there, but I don't know. I don't care about the censorship stuff because it's kind of pointless. And, getting mad at Sony for everything is pointless. Same thing where I may have my stance on Microsoft, but honestly, it's kind of just up in the air, my own thing. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any topics you want to hear me talk about, I'll have something in the works soon. So, from me, OPRox99, saying take care and goodbye and have a good day. And later.